Stones. Come to him, a living stone. Not my first thought when I think of stones. A living stone? What's that all about? I mean, I found a lot of things living underneath stones. My neighbour's garden is full of breeze blocks. He's building a patio. It's an incredibly labour-intensive thing. Backwards and forwards, forwards and backwards. There's carrying, there's mixing. It's pretty exhausting just watching him while I'm having a beer. One thing about watching someone build bits of their own house is that you notice just how much care is put into it. In Peter's letter, God is described as a builder. He's got bricks. He's got these living stones, you and me. And he's also got the most important one, Christ. You see, it's not just you and me, it's also God himself. That stone that the builders rejected, now it's the cornerstone, the bit that holds the whole thing up. You'll have noticed that there's a lot of rejection going on in this letter, but there's also a lot of choosing. Notice that the people reject Christ. People reject God. It happened when they crucified him, and it happens now all of the time as well. People reject the very notion of God, but God chooses not to stay rejected. We are in the middle of Easter. This is the celebration that God decided not to stay in the tomb. When they rejected him and they hung him upon the cross, he didn't stay in the tomb. God chooses not to be rejected, but to come and to choose us. You see, God came to build a people and was nailed to a tree, but he wouldn't stay rejected. And here, in Peter's letter, he is telling us that God still continues to choose a people to build his church. I hope you hear that. He chooses you. Yeah, really, you. And it's hard work building with living stones, because they don't just sit still like breeze blocks. They don't stay put where you put them, they wander off. But God doesn't stay rejected. He chooses you. He is choosing you. Right here, right now, he's choosing you to build his house. This is the part where you and I are in this whole crazy endeavour of God to build a church. Now, you may have been thinking about this for years. You may have never thought about this before at all. But this morning, we are challenged in our journey. However you found yourself here this morning, there's something punctuating the journey that we're on, the journey that you were on. You see, God is here in the midst of all of whatever this is, and he's not rejecting you. He's choosing you. And he's calling you to be part of something bigger, something he's building that requires a little piece of you. You see, we're not in this all alone. We're here, built together as a ragtag bunch of followers. We're here to support one another, and at the head of it all is Christ. Holding it all together is Christ.